for any reason, ever share your private keys, passphrases, passwords, or click suspicious links. Everyone all the time is trying to steal your stuff, so go slow and be careful. There's no point making all this money just to give it to a thief.
Are you tired of all the uneducated noise you're getting from the droves of YOLO meme coin peddling douchebag gurus out there trying to use you as their exit liquidity? Would you rather learn a competent university-level set of skills that will guide you in managing and investing for the rest of your life? Join us 3 days a week at Digital Investor. Develop your knowledge of game theory, cognitive bias, macroeconomics, monetary theory, investment theory, psychology of the crowds, and more. For more info on Digital Investor and how it can help you, reach out at nickblacknext.com.
Buenos dias. Let's see all the peeps we got. Bam, bam, pam, bam, bam, pam. Oh, you like how I do that? Bam, pam. You don't know if I said bam, Pam. Well, Wendy,
you said Pam. You 100% said Pam. Don't try to hide that.
Joe, Steve.
What's up, Pam?
What about? No, that's not a Jan. We had a Jan, bam, Pam. You're like, oh, God.
Jan.
You can make music.
What a day. What a beautiful day. Holy cow. This is going to be a good show today. My heck.
I was playing VR yesterday.
Don't tell me that.
They said, okay, you're going to have rainstorms and all this kind of rain, flash floods and all this kind of crap. And then there was an earthquake while I was playing the game. And I was like, nah, that's stupid. We're not supposed to have that. We're supposed to have rain, not an earthquake. So I refuse. I refuse the earthquake. And it wasn't even a good one. I mean, I guess you don't want a good one in earthquakes. Hello. Look at all the people.
No, as far as the earthquakes go, that's one of those things you want a bad one. And the same thing with hurricanes.
Well, you don't want a bad one.
If you want Hillary hurricanes coming through your
Do you think it's funny they called it Hillary?
Oh,
every time
have you seen all the memes? Have you seen them all?
No.
This is happening. Dude, I've seen, oh my gosh, so many memes. It's hilarious. They got Hillary in a green screen swirling around.
That's about right. Because you see Hillary making her way through California. You're like, oh, this is going to be bad. And they're like, oh, we're just talking about a hurricane. I'm like, oh, thank God. Thank God it's not Hillary Clinton. Yeah. Look at all the peeps. Hello, peeps. Peeps. I'm going to go through this whole damn list.
We should.
That's what we do.
I'm still putting announcements that we're live places, so you're good.
Okay. All right. Live. We got that nailed. Let me do a quick announcement for private clients. We can do it if it's kind of vague. The private client news is Twin Protocol, the first round. I get all the details today. I'll get that finalized by tomorrow. That's done. So all the round one people, that'll be finished. You're locked. Tomorrow, you got your stuff. Round two, I'll get immediately after round one. And then we'll have like 3 weeks to a month to sort that out. So that is the Twin Protocol private client news. Okay, enough of that. Brandon, did you have some stuff you want to get out of the way, some bookkeeping before we get to the goods?
Absolutely. And here's the thing, and I absolutely love this part of everything. Digital Investor. The sign-up process is fairly intuitive, and I think most of you guys got this thing, but sometimes there's some small hiccups, which I get. A couple of people are either double paying or they're paying for like a monthly membership when they should be paying for an annual membership or whatever. Don't worry about it. Just go ahead and use the contact form on the site. Email me, whatever. I am very responsive. I see all of that. So as soon as I get that information in, I will respond to you. I will get it taken care of. I got 4 this morning of that type of situation where they'd done one thing or another. I've already taken care of all those. So you should see all those corrections in your thing. I've also caught a few that have already just double charged by accident. So I've already refunded those as well. And you should be taken care of on that front. I want you guys to know that we're always on top of this stuff because We want you guys to be taken care of 100% regarding that kind of thing. We don't want that to be an issue. If you ever have any problems getting into the digital investor website, there's a contact form on the website in a couple different areas where you can contact me. I check all those all the time. So I read all of those. So they do get somewhere and I see them. So we'll take care of those for you. Anyway, that's as far as bookkeeping that I want to do. And we're good to go.
Okay. No other things yet.
Well, we'll talk about that later in the stream, won't we?
Ooh.
Won't we?
Okay.
We'll talk about that in a second because that's a big deal. That's kind of
okay.
Cool. That's fun.
Let's do about 5 minutes of open, like kind of office hours. We need to start as we push towards actually launching the show, which is much more educational. We've had to, obviously, those of you that are digital heavyweights or were, you know that we've been kind of muting the content a little bit during the free public broadcasts because legal reasons. There's stuff we can and can't do that we can do behind the wall. So we go behind the wall September 1st. But until then, we are going to do a little bit of office hours, and we're going to get back more into some education later today. We're going to get into some game theory. So that's going to be kind of fun. Game theory, economics, and it's going to relate to what's going on with, Ethereum, Vitalik, and just the general idea of, I think if you look at what might happen in the layer one ecosystem, not just Ethereum, but Ethereum's a good kind of first obvious example of what happens when you have Ethereum and it's clunky and slow and may never be able to, transition to something better. And they just build layer twos around it. And then the layer twos have better layer twos that launch. And then the other layer twos are less exciting and things like that. So you're starting to see what you see in the commodity space when you have technological innovation that might affect mining or unearthing of commodities or like the growing of commodities, things like that. And you'll see, I don't think there's any reason that the crypto space, that the economics and the game theory inside crypto is all that much different than the rest of the universe. So we will be talking about that today in our educational, what is it when you put like the hat on? Your thinking cap.
Sure.
Do you have? You don't.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
I have a thinking cap.
You don't have a thinking cap.
I wear it all the time, bro.
You don't ever wear it because you don't have suntan from a thinking cap.
Oh, you mean like a tan?
I actually have a wound, a VR wound, where the little band rubs you. Little band.
Your thinking cap is that's because you got the old style of thinking cap. The new one's fresh. It leaves no tan lines and it leaves no like rubbing, none of that rash that the old one left.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Seems like DHW and DFN has now ceased. Okay. The digital, just real quick, Digital Fortunes Network. I never had anything to do with that. That's just something they said, oh, by the way, we rolled it out. I never had anything to do with any of those emails. Not one, not ever. That's just not how it works over there. They have their own group of people that do all that stuff. All we do, like Brandon was a producer and he just produced show after show after show. And I was delivering content and that's it. We didn't have any other connection. That's part of the disconnect, which is why we're doing this, where we do have control of the content and the messaging. So anyway, sorry, Steve, if you were subscribing to those things, they were paying us like hired help and they were doing everything else on their own. So I don't know, I don't know. But yeah, Digital Investor is just us. All right. Yeah. Let's see. Okay. That's great. All right. Do we have any kind of market related questions? Let me see. I asked a question last week. Never heard back. Was there a monthly plan for 99 or not? 99 is that right?
Yeah.
That is the monthly plan. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, there is. All right. Let's do some crypto related stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Flynn. I guess the question might be, Flynn, it renews each month. So yeah, you're good. So
it's just monthly. You don't have to click a button. It's not like a video game. You have to click it every month. Digital Investor is not private clients. That's correct. Private clients is a smaller group inside Digital Investor. So if you're a digital investor, you get all of the back end stuff private clients is a separate group that does like early round investing and things like that. Pre-ICO, seed, angel round investing. It's a private group with a private Telegram and private stream once a week just for that. And also they get like kind of real-time consulting and Q&A. By the way, a little twin announcement. We're closer now. They're building a me twin that will be able to do like kind of low-level consulting. So you have like a basic question, you'll be able to ask it. We're not there yet, but we're uploading documents and content to build that twin. So I've actually seen the back end, their first version of it, and we've been messing with that. So yeah, that's kind of cool. Yeah. Okay. I did not see the option for the annual plan. Yeah, it's there, but it's only crypto. We don't take money for annual plan, right, Brandon? Is that right?
We have crypto. We have a credit card option that we're gonna probably get rid of soon. But we just had to leave that credit card option because I know a lot of people just want to pay with a credit card this first time. It's actually a little bit more to pay with credit card because we have more fees and things. Crypto's the way. If you can do crypto, that's the best way.
Crypto. It's crypto only. We don't want your damn terrestrial dollars.
Mark, so you go through the monthly option. You'll click through and go to the monthly option. As soon as you sign up for that, it'll give you an annual pop-up. Do you want to become an annual member? You just select yes. So super easy.
Okay. Why don't we get on, since we don't seem to have a lot of like crypto questions, I'm sure they'll come up as we go. Why don't we get to kind of what's going on in the AI news world, of which there is a lot. Kind of some cool stuff going down. Let me pull up I have two kind of really cool news sources for AI news. The first one, we're going to talk about federal judge rules on AI copyrights. The US and China are in kind of they're always in an arms race, aren't they? But now they're, I think it's China versus the world as far as like a global AI arms race. Anyway, first up, a federal judge slapped down a lawsuit trying to get a copyright protection for art created by AI systems alone. So upholding this longstanding rule that human creators must be involved. I don't think that's going to be a rule forever, but at least it's a rule for now. Stephen Thaler sued after the U.S. Copyright Office rejected his application to copyright an artwork generated by his AI system, which he designed, called the Creativity Machine. I mean, if he did it, I don't know. Anyway, the judge ruled copyright law has never extended protection to new technology operating without any human guidance. But if Mr. Steven built the machine, isn't that the guidance? Anyway, the decision cited several precedents establishing the need for human creativity and choices, an important distinction as the line between AI and personal creation becomes increasingly blurred. Okay, why does this even matter? I mean, the age of robot artists has not yet arrived in the eyes of the law. AI having its own rights. The thing is, do you remember, Brandon, we were talking to Ben Gortzel about this, Dr. Ben Gortzel. We did an interview with him. And we said, when do AI get rights? And his like, well, when they ask for them. Because my guess is when AI asks for rights, it knows it can take them and it's just being polite.
Oh, 100%. I remember this exactly. He said, and this is the more of the true AGI stuff when they gain sentience and when they get sentience and things like that. But it's going to happen.
That's going to be, yeah. So I guess when AI comes and knocking and says, we want our freedom, you would give it to it, because it's going to be behind the AI, like Monk will be like an army of T-1000s. Anyway, so the whole idea of whether they're going to grant copyright freedoms is probably going to that's going to be a bigger issue, is my guess. Okay, US and China are accelerating their military AI arms race. But again, I think this is more of like a global thing. Anyway, the basics of it are that the US and China are developing AI drones, AI managed vehicles, and surveillance systems to gain an edge in autonomous warfare capabilities, according to a report from the Wall Street Journal. Again, the Wall Street Journal is not always like the whistleblower of first resort, so we'll see. A study found that a third of US and China military AI contracts are for intelligent and autonomous vehicles. An estimated that each country's spending, well, of course, they're spending billions on military AI, R&D. The current conflict in the Ukraine has been cited as one of the first major testing grounds for AI drone technology. AI image analysis for reconnaissance and surveillance is another growing area of interest for military power. Okay, so why should you care? Well, as the AI arms race, like this is not just open source models and machine learning and neural networks. This is like, how do we make these AI systems make our missiles have a higher kill percentage? So like, you know, in the kill chain, and like, this is like the underwear gnomes, but with death count as the win. It's like A, steal the underwear, B, and C, 74,000 dead bodies. So like, it does matter probably. Also, what you should worry about maybe as a human is that maybe the military technology that's going into these AI warfare systems spawns general intelligence. That system would look a lot different than the system that might come out of, you know, a more decentralized or benevolent ecosystem like SingularityNet, or I mean, even OpenAI or anything like that has got to be better than like DARPA and China's deep military assassination projects. My feeling. Brandon, which one do you want? Do you want Butterfly's AI, or do you want like guided missile Raytheon super strategic T1000 AI, AGI?
Butterflies.
I don't even know if that's the noise they make.
That is the noise they make. I have the soundtrack. Butterfly. What the?
It's like it's in your face.
Oh, that was weird.
It was like being there.
That was so real.
Okay.
Oh my heck.
I know, it's crazy. I know everybody just went through a whole thing. India is expanding their digital payments with AI. So they're rolling out voice and offline payments for their universal payments interface digital system, which UPIDs? Oh, don't say it. Anyway, they're using AI speech recognition and a bunch of offline tech, and it aims to reach rural users that may have spotty internet and literacy issues. Because to be fair, money is not just for people that can read. And in a lot of agrarian and like rural country, well, you know, what you might call like a third world country, where a lot of people like move the land and animals for their like living, for their life. And so they're not just focused on like reading and things like that. They should be able to have access to finance as well. Anyway, this system processed 10 billion transactions in July. That's not a small thing. So it is something to pay attention to. Good for India. Good for India letting like people with very little voice like have money. China launches an AI brain into space. Space brain. Chinese startup just blasted off what they call Wonder Journey 1A, and it's the country's first AI-powered satellite. I hope that's not weaponized. I'm sure it's not, right? They wouldn't. In the chat, do you think that this Wonder Journey 1A has a weapon system? I should hope not. Anyway, the onboard string platform can process images and data in orbit without transmitting them to Earth. The goal for String is to act as an AI assistant, allowing users to talk to the satellite in a chat GPT-like fashion. Like, what is my neighbor wearing right now on the other side of the fence? Like, oh my God, put that back on, Thelma. I mean, I don't think I have anybody named Thelma within like 100,000 miles, but I guess that's the whole Earth. And there's a Thelma somewhere wearing a top she shouldn't be. Brandon, what say you? Chinese satellite weapons, no weapons? Yes or no?
No, well, no weapons, man. You always go no weapons.
What do you mean weapons? You? I'm not China.
Well, I mean, in general, we want to go no weapons, right? I don't know.
Space Ghost.
I think what we want to do is do metaverse fights only and not real world fights from here on out.
The India story, John, it's not clear that I don't think it is a blockchain based system. It's just a payment rail. It's a payment gateway. I think it's terrestrial. It's like a normal system. They're just using AI to make it easier for people to interact with the system and get the payments that they have coming, which I think is cool. Like, Bitcoin ushered in a really cool concept, many cool concepts in computer science. It solved this thing, which was the Byzantine generals problem that had been kind of vexing computer scientists for a long time. That's great. It's done all this cool stuff, but crypto, distributed systems, distributed ledgers, decentralized consensus, things like this, it's not a panacea for all problems. Not all systems are made better because crypto. Matter of fact, we every now and then we do this and it pisses off like 17 people. It's okay, the number's 203. It'll be 190 in a second. But like, you have to look really hard to find a place where crypto's made life better. There's a lot of promise. There's an incredible amount of promise. But if you're being honest with yourself,
you could count on one hand the amount of companies that's actually made any type of influence into crypto.
Yeah,
in real life, right?
Well,
maybe two hands, maybe two.
I don't think two hands. What do you think has really made life better?
Okay.
No, not might. There's a lot of things that might make life better. There's an amazing amount of things that could make life better. We believe it will, but is buying a pizza any easier right now than it was 2009? Eating a pizza, paying for pizza.
Who said pizza? Transferring large amounts of money is definitely easier than it was in 2009.
For who?
For the people using crypto.
But are the people using crypto the ones transferring large amounts of money? Really? Not globally large amounts of money.
Yes. Some.
Come on, bro.
Some. Come on. You know there's some that are using crypto exclusively to transfer large amounts of money.
Yeah,
right?
But the thing is, so this is a good point. SBF, that had nothing to do with crypto. That's just a finance scam. That's just the bunch of crypto bro jargon orgy pile douchebags that fleeced a bunch of idiots. But none of that had to do with actual crypto. That was just a bank. That was a heist.
Now, I know this is just another promise, but like the theory of what hypercycle's doing could be what I see as the first Web 2 to Web 3 interaction that could actually make some real sense as far as actually improving what Web 2's been doing.
I agree. There's a lot of promise. That's why I have all my currency.
I know promise, but that one
can't,
seems like the closest to actual integration.
My grandmother used to say, wish in one hand and crap in the other and see which one fills up quicker.
Son of a gun. Your grandma taught you this as a kid?
She's wise, man.
Oh man.
That's right. My grandpa used to say, he'd say, son, come here. I was like, no, I don't want to come here. You're gross. He's like, come here. I'm like, what? He'd be like, I want you to remember this. I'm like, what? And he smelled like mothballs and salt and pepper. He smelled like pepper, salt and pepper. Why do old people smell like salt and pepper? Anyway, he would lean and he would say, hoes be tripping.
What?
Yeah. And again, I was young and naive. So I didn't understand what that meant. But I was young and naive. I had a lot of growing up to do. Anyway, I hope that helps. Okay. So anyway, that's kind of interesting. I like what's going on in India. I like the idea that satellites are going to be using AI. Look, anywhere where artificial intelligence, AI systems, swarm AI, as we build towards AGI, can help and we can leverage it, we do it. We just have to make sure we understand what's going on. We need like a particle physics of AI. I was listening to a discussion from MIT over the weekend because I'm a nerd and I don't have any social life. But this guy was discussing the idea that that physicists need to take a quantum theoretical approach to looking at how artificial intelligence systems, large language models, neurosymbolic learning engines, like machine learning, how all of that goes, and these generalized phase transitions between these systems. It gets into the weeds, and it may be something I would try to describe in a later video, but the long end of it is we might benefit from taking a physicist's approach and coming up with kind of a standard model or a quantum model for the transitions in the thought process of AI systems. And that's not really happening yet. And that could happen. Kind of a mechanistic design, kind of like the other side of game theory is mechanism design. Well, the other side of kind of large language model theory or narrow AI theory could be some kind of mechanistic design or mechanism design system too. Could be very interesting. Anyway. And Thomas, no, the heavyweights aren't gone. They've just changed. Oh yeah, it shouldn't be 170 days. You're right. It should be less days. It should be 168 now.
Oh, it's coming. It's coming.
Yeah, and I think this is going to be accidentally almost on the money. I mean, not to the day, but like pretty close.
It's gonna be close. Well, there's so many other things building up to this too, and they all might culminate together in like the perfect little storm of goodness.
Okay, the UK is going to spend 130 million, which is freaking dust. Anyway, but good for the UK. There's like 6 of them. They have like no teeth. Anyway, on AI chips amid a scramble to buy up compute power. So the UK allocated 130 million bucks for AI chip purchases to establish an AI research resource by 2024. They're aiming to address this kind of global compute power shortage. You think everybody's going to be scrambling for compute? That's another reason a large, vibrant, hypercycle compute ecosystem might make a lot of sense. Anyway, they're trying to basically gobble up chips. They're using sources. I mean, they're sourcing their chips from NVIDIA, Intel, AMD, but the funding falls short, obviously, of what their goals are, their ambition. And this is going to lead to more funding pressure, and a lot of governments are going to be scrambling. No one wants to be last on this one, because if you're last, if you ain't first, you're last. It might be something like that, but you definitely don't want to be like fourth. If you're fourth to AGI, you are destitute. You're bankrupt as hell. Anyway, a report highlights the company struggles to deploy AI due to resource constraints. Wink, wink, hypercycle ecosystem. And again, I'm not saying that hypercycle is going to solve all the world's ills. It doesn't have to solve all of them. If it solved 1% of the world's ills, we good. S&P Global's AI trend reports that are emphasizing the significance of adequate computing power in AI development, which is kind of like the obvious ultimate. Yeah, no smoke, dude. Like, obviously. Okay. The FDA clears an AI-powered software that pinpoints suspicious findings on chest x-rays. So they approved Imidex's AI-powered software, which is called VizRad XR, and it detects suspicious findings on chest x-rays, which that's pretty cool. So it's an assistant, right? So it uses curated global data sets and advanced machine learning. And then the tool aids radiologists by identifying potentially missed modules and masses. So your radiologist has taken a look with his human eyes. He's tired. He played racquetball for 17 hours straight on Sunday. It was crazy. You should have seen it. Rick was there. He broke his ankle. Anyway, the AI was like, hey, doc, go look to your left again, buddy. He looks, oh my gosh, you're right, robot. I love you, robot. And then he goes out there and doesn't say that robot found a thing that he missed. And Artie would have had a damn heart attack if it wasn't for AI. Doesn't matter. What matters is it was found. So this is going to support radiologists and enhance patient care in large-scale models. The software achieved a sensitivity of 83% and could potentially identify hundreds of Ling nodes, nodules, and masses, benefiting hospitals performing numerous chest x-rays annually. Can also go back through old x-ray data and make sure that things weren't missed, alert those doctors, they can alert those patients.
This is a big deal.
Yep.
My dad just broke his back, fell off a horse like 3 weeks ago, right?
He fell off a horse playing racquetball?
This is weird. He goes in, doctor says, you know what? You're fine. I think there's only a crack in one of your thing. Anyway, goes back a week later. Turns out 5 of his vertebrae are cracked. The
Yeah.
radiologist missed 5. Okay. Who does that? Right? Who's sleep? Just like you said, Johnny Be Good, doctor, missed 5 vertebrae that were cracked. AI wouldn't have missed that. Right?
Well, and look what Ronald said. Investigation Netherlands showed that AI was 2 times more accurate than the specialist finding cancer on MRI. Of course, I mean, this is just, I don't think regular, I don't know if, like, who, do you think anybody going into a hospital would say no to having an AI agent?
It's a second opinion. It's a second opinion
Right.
for like, that's like smarter than the doctor by double.
Yeah.
Triple.
Yeah, I mean, oh God. Anyway,
Yeah.
okay, so
if it's my body, I want a second opinion.
yeah.
So.
Okay, Allen Institute unveils Dolma, which is a large open training data set for large language models. Cool. Again, more competition. Great. Dolma is all about transparency. Yeah. Everybody says we're all about transparency. Gotcha. We talked about AI created art not being copyrightable yet unless it's attached to a human. Okay. 11 labs collaborating with ScienceCast and ARXIV generates digestible videos for open access research. This is a cool idea of like unsiloing medical data. Anyway, they're partnered with an open access science video platform called ScienceCast. They're creating narrated summaries of scientific papers, which is really cool because a lot of this stuff, there's this kind of like douchey, overly arrogant kind of nose in the air. Scientists are kind of like, I'm smart, you're stupid. Well, maybe if you would put it into regular words, dumbass, then we would all understand what you're saying. Just going and memorizing a bunch of nebulous words doesn't make you, for instance, scientists, I know a lot of scientists, they walk around like kind of like, you can't even imagine the things that I imagine. Like, well, guess what, a-hole, go down to the McLaren dealership, talk to those guys as they run you through the list of ridiculous named parts of a car. You won't know what the hell they're talking about either. Effing Einstein. So, and that's a problem in that a lot of people will have industry speech, which is why we try to keep things kind of simple here. But people will industry speech you into thinking you need them. That's another douchebag guru trick. They'll say a bunch of verbs and you're like, what? That's small. You hear all those syllables. Brandon, did you hear all the syllables Tika was talking about? I don't know those syllables. I don't even know 3 of them. He must be onto something with syllables like that. And yields and syllables coming. And if you don't, come on, man. So there's a bunch of noise out there. And a lot of it is just an inability to communicate what you're saying because of like verbiage, nomenclature, like specific in industry words. And so if you can just reduce those to human speech, then everybody goes, oh, I get it. Like what you're doing is not all that really complex. You just use really cool words. Yeah. Because science is not really all that difficult. It's just that they word you to death. Any technical space, they word you to death because they want to sound, they want you to need them. But anyway, these guys at 11 Labs are trying to back into a more conversational approach to science, basically turning all of these really complex things into like 3 to 5 minute elevator pitches, which is really cool. So they're gonna combine scientific research with all these kind of weird projects and make them digestible, not only for researchers, but also for regular humans like me and you and the visually impaired and things like that. So this is really cool. I think it's really cool. And there probably will be some syllables, but they'll probably tell you what the syllables mean. Avis showcases Google's progress in AI-powered image search. This is Google, not the rental car company that gives you crappy like Dodge Stratuses. No matter what you order, you end up in a Dodge Stratus. I don't know why that, no matter what you order from Avis. Anyway, this is not that. This is Google. Brandon, have you ever rented anything from Avis?
Yes.
Oh my
What do you
God,
want me to
that's
say?
you
I
can't
feel
say.
horrible.
What is it, a Dodge Stratus?
This is when I was young and uninformed.
Okay, so Google's Avis is an autonomous visual information seeking method and integrates large language models with computer vision. So that's really badass. Good. I hope they succeed on. I mean, all of these things are going to stand on the shoulders of all these other things. That's great. Where's the lifetime membership link? James, it's $1 million. Anybody that wants to be, look, you don't ever be a lifetime member of anything. But if you are, you want to be a lifetime member, we'll give you a special one-of-one NFT like nothing you've ever seen.
The artwork will be out of the Midjourney roof.
And you will be like the only, I mean, I guess technically we're lifetime members, me and you, Brandon.
Yeah, because, you know, when I die.
Which will be soon.
Based on what I've been eating. Correct.
And the sniper I have trained on you right now if you make any mistakes. Green Panda, pull back. Green Panda, pull back.
Thank goodness.
Yeah. My assassin's name is Green Panda, bro.
I think I'm going to move away from this window.
So Windows. We don't need Windows, bro. We're going to hit a 40 millimeter depleted uranium.
50 cal goes right through concrete. Right through concrete.
We're just going to melt it right through your house from space, from the satellite that doesn't have weapons. Okay. And then the last thing I think that I thought was kind of cool, scientists uncover biological echoes in an AI transformer model. So a new research suggested that AI transformer architecture and biology astrocyte neuron networks share some surprising similarities. And most of you are like, wait a minute, you word using, I'm just reading it. A collaborative study at MIT and MIT IBM Watson AI Lab and Harvard Medical, so not idiots, proposed that astrocytes, which are brain cells that support neurons, that they can replace, they can replicate transformers' core computations. You think, that's interesting. How is it that these human organic systems have already mastered a lot of this stuff? Well, because we're here talking about it. Anyway, the study explains how astrocytes' signal integration mirrors the spatial and temporal memory required for self-attention, which is a key aspect of these transformer networks. So while these insights bring neuroscience and AI understanding a little bit closer, human cognition's very intricate details still remain quite puzzling and challenging. Probably the most exciting thing for me about AI is when we get to AGI, every other question's been answered, because then it's just about prompt engineering and being able to describe what you want in a relevant way as quick as possible. Get good at asking questions. Also, get practice with your kids at asking questions and getting them to be able to frame precise questions just in life. Like anybody that's around you should be able to, it shouldn't take 17 questions to ask one question. So you want to build the skill of asking precise questions. And that is this kind of prompt engineering has forced at least anybody that's interested to refine the way to make more precision in the way that they introduce questions, and also to yourself, the way that you ask for information, where you think to yourself, okay, wait, what am I actually asking for? So all of that's kind of embedded in this study of prompt engineering, which is really cool, I think. Okay, Brandon, should we switch over to markets and then kind of melt in the crypto news as we get through markets? Is that kind of a fun way to do it?
Let's do markets, but yeah, we have to get to that hypercycle news today. We have to.
Okay, so market first, and then hypercycle news, and then Brainiac stuff. Vitalik, buddy. Okay, so I'm going to let people come up with their own conclusions, and then we'll ask Brandon what his conclusion is. Anyway, a major U.S. exchange, Coinbase, received hundreds of Ethereum from Vitalik today. Now, to be fair, he's not like the douchebag Max Kaiser who was like, I'm never selling. Which, by the way, he came on like a week ago and was like, I'm not sure I believe in Bitcoin anymore. The guy who screamed, I'm not selling, and his face turned red. Anyway, that guy. Okay, in a significant move today, Ethereum's visionary founder, he's technically a visionary. I think if anybody gets the visionary title, it's like Vitalik, right? Anyway, he and like Silvio Macaulay and probably, well, you could go through the list at Bitcoin Core of the people who probably are like Satoshi. But anyway, whatever. Vitalik transferred 600 Ethereum, equivalent to about $1 million, which in Vitalik terms, that's dust, dude. That's like legit dust. Anyway, about $1 million to deposit on Coinbase, which, you know, many of the alerting systems, the Twitter, what formerly Twitter X bots, were all like, ah, crap, it's over. This is the beginning of the end of the world because of $1 million. But dude, he's a billionaire. If he wants to take 1/10 of 1% of his money and go buy a damn spaceship, you're not buying much of a spaceship for $1 million. You can get like a private jet. Nope. Barely a plane. I don't even know what you can get for $1 million, but it ain't much. But anyway, isn't that sad that $1 million is like, oh, I have $1 million. I got to work for the rest of my life. Like, crap, man. It used to mean something. Anyway, I don't think this is that big of a deal. 600 Ethereum is nothing. But he put them on there to sell them, right? Like, so anyway, and I like how these people really dig into adding to the depth of the narrative. Ain't no depth. He put some Bitcoin. He put some Bitcoin, you're gonna sell it. You put some Ethereum on the market, you're gonna sell it. You don't transfer things. People are like, well, maybe he's really trying to just shake things up and pull a shenanigan, like trick people into what? What are you tricking people into, Brandon? When you're Vitalik, and I don't fancy him a liar. He seems like a great
Vitalik is just doing his thing, you know?
Yeah.
Who cares? This is just news to report news at this point
because
nothing's going on. Just like you said, $1 million for Vitalik is such a small amount.
It ain't nothing.
And even if he does cash out, who cares? Like,
yeah, it's a big who cares.
Why not go buy a yacht or something at this point?
The markets today are quiet, melting up. Over the weekend, you had those kind of, and again, illiquid assets on illiquid exchanges traded by sketchy, dubious, and usually untrustable individuals. But over the weekend is when you see the most anemic trading. People are just doing other stuff. And nothing really happened. Over the last 7 days, there was some punishment as you look. 11 change percent for Bitcoin. So I look at Bitcoin as a line in the sand and look at everyone else and see how they did. Ethereum outperformed Bitcoin. XRP did not. Cardano outperformed Bitcoin. Dogecoin somehow.
Yeah.
Finally. What a...
Just wait.
So remember, the line in the sand is 11.2, okay? So we go, okay, Polkadot outperformed. Matic got beat up worse. Don't care. Outperformed. Yeah. Cosmos outperformed. Although when we do portfolio building month in September, which we're going to do, I don't know where Cosmos belongs in the portfolio these days. It's gonna take some thought. All right. Filecoin barely underperformed, but for me, it's big data, and this is a market that's really still not being looked at. I don't think yet, not appropriately. So that, to me, that just screams opportunity. VeChain, kind of no one cares, but I look at it to see. This kind of gut instinct in me is like, in a bullish, excited market, it's almost like people might say, well, maybe that's the only way to really kind of, that's like your proxy China asset, kind of infrastructure, kind of China. I mean, a lot China. I don't know. It's a lottery ticket, but it's a maybe. Optimism performed great against Bitcoin and its peers. Look, it's still up on the year. I think there's a lot to be said about layer twos and why Ethereum is less important. Let's just say that. Graph, kind of almost exactly the same. Algo got beat up because those idiots won't talk. You better talk to me, sucker. Anyway, Render is a pumpy, meme, spammy, douchebag coin, a Seamus Polypacha, Disruptor 45 times, D-bag coin. I would urge people to just stay away from it like it's on fire, but it is quite volatile. Some people have had success trading it. To me, it's a lottery ticket. It's a good lottery ticket, but not here, not at these levels, not at these levels. It should be like 28 cents. Flow, no. Outperformed. Ocean outperformed. Yay. And it's at 30 cents, which is yay, because I'm buying it anything below, for me, well, I'm not going to say anything. For me, I like it. That's all I'll say until we get behind the wall. All right. AGIX, just about the same as Bitcoin. It's kind of melting. And again, the further you get away from Bitcoin, the less liquid all these assets get, which means the more fluctuations you're going to get. Still somehow Fetch. I mean, good. It's in all
tracker. What tracker do you use?
Well,
like this, your tracker's so far behind on price. Fetch is like 19 cents right now.
Is it really?
Yeah. AGIX is 17.5 cents.
Oh man.
Like this is really weird. I think your thing's like way off. Like all these are way off.
Well, when I click OK, then I clicked into it and went.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Yeah, 19.9. Yeah. Well, that's not way off. It's a penny.
Well, that's a 9% move. That's 10%.
No, one penny on 20 is 5%. But anyway,
no,
but
it was
good try.
21 before. It was 22. You're still 21.4.
Right. What is what's 19.9, buddy?
1.4 cents.
I'll give you 6.5%. Closed. Arweave. There were some questions in the chat about how to purchase Arweave. I was getting mine at KuCoin. However, we may need to look at some other alternatives because many people cannot use KuCoin anymore. I don't know why I still can. I don't want to jinx it, but I still can. Okay. Nothing else really all that exciting. I mean, here we are. Good. I like quiet markets. Brandon, what are your thoughts? Market wise, and again, we have to be very careful. We're not going to get in and tell people buy stuff, sell stuff, but this is a good time. Yeah, it's a good time to be accumulating quality.
Hit refresh up at the top, but the it's got to refresh all those assets. Like Hypercycle's 39. Something's weird on your thing.
It's going to make me re-log in, and that would.
Oh no, you're good. Oh yeah. Dang.
Well,
I
did what you said. Thanks.
Dang it.
Well done.
Broke it. But I was gonna talk about Hypercycle. Let's
talk Hypercycle.
Turning into my fan favorite right now, just because of what we have going on behind the scenes. Obviously, we've been talking a lot about nodes, and I get 4,000 questions a day. That's an exaggeration, and I've been kind of putting those questions off. And a couple of reasons being, we don't have the exact details on everything, and we want to have the correct information for you. But good news, and Nick has acquired 5 master node licenses over the last couple days. Those licenses we will be dividing up and distributing to digital investors and digital private clients. Right now, if I go ahead and share my screen here, boom, boom. This is something that you guys can access probably later today. You're going to be able to go on Digital Investor and you're going to be able to go ahead and buy these node licenses. So we're breaking them up into a binary number of 8. So 8 is the minimum that you can buy, and they're priced at $115 per license. We're also going to be putting an option for 32 licenses on there, and that's going to be priced at $110 per license. So a little bit of a discount when you get those nodes. Now, what happens when you get the node? We're building out a web page on the site that's going to have all the Q&As that you're ever going to need for Hypercycle nodes and stuff. So we're going to be able to walk through each one of those questions that you guys are going to have. I know there's going to be a lot of questions, so we're just be patient a little bit, but we're going to address as much as we can right here, right now, because I know there's some questions that we do know the answers to that we can give you, but there's going to be a FAQ section on there that'll just kind of walk you through all this stuff. As soon as you buy this node license, so let's say you go ahead and go over there and you want to add this to the cart. What happens is you're going to check out right here and you're going to go to the cart. It'll get us your name. It'll get us whatever, where you're from, your email address. And then I've still made this field optional. I'm thinking about making it required because it'll get us your wallet address. Now I do get the wallet address when you check out, but it's just easier if I have this because I can export this to a spreadsheet and then I can have it because the next step, I'll tell you in a second. So put your wallet address in here and then you can check out with Ethereum or USDT. We will transfer that to USDC immediately. But anyway, you can check out that way. Everything will be paid for the nodes only in crypto. You can't buy these things with a credit card or anything else. You have to use crypto to buy these nodes. Now, as soon as you guys go through and connect your MetaMask wallet to here and you can check out, you can buy the node licenses. We will be airdropping you an NFT. It's on the Ethereum blockchain. We'll airdrop you an NFT to represent your ownership of those licenses for now. Currently, the master node license is actually a Cardano NFT, and that's how it's going to interact with the native 721 Hypercycle node token so that we can use that token over in the Hypercycle hub and start doing things as soon as we get everything up and running. Now, there's going to come a time when we're going to need to pair these licenses with Hypercycle tokens. When we're going to do that, we'll need to lock up those tokens as the master node license holder with that Cardano NFT, and we're going to take that, we're going to bind those two together, and those are going to be bound, and we're going to send them over to the hardware system that a DPC member is building currently. Now, a lot of people are asking when we can get this online. We can get this online as soon, like right now, essentially, but we won't get it online right now because we have a few steps to get to before we get that done. But essentially, we can start getting this thing going right now.
Real quick, you don't need Hypercycle tokens to purchase a license, but you will need to marry each license with 1,024 tokens to actually start tilling and doing stuff like that. And we are working with a hardware provider to build out a data center, and it's one of the current private clients. So in our tiny ecosystem, we're building a data center. We have nodes, licenses to deploy. Anybody that's purchasing, until we hear otherwise, anybody that's purchasing node licenses that are in our group, they're going to be marrying tokens and be running at our data facilities, right? We don't know any other way to do that yet. There's not a way to split them all out yet. There will eventually be, but that's not a thing that we would do. That's a thing that Hypercycle developers would do. And then when they push those code updates, those audited code updates down to the ecosystem, we would do it. So right now, all we're doing is we're building out a data center, and we have the licenses. We're breaking the licenses up. And the reason they're in funny numbers is because that's the way you have to do it. That's the way that they get broken up. We have 8s and 32s. And you don't need tokens to do this, but you will eventually need tokens if you want to participate in tilling and all that, which is not going online this second. We're going to spend a couple of weeks doing this, and we will let you know as we get, but this is only for digital investors and digital private clients. This is not a public facing thing.
Correct.
So we love
I'm going to
you.
shoot through these questions.
Yeah.
This is a lot, keep the questions coming. These are a lot of good ones. The answer to this one is no. You cannot send over a Cryptopia node license. We cannot manage that. That is under their master license, and they're going to be doing all the shenanigans with that. And I know, and this is just from what I've learned, they're going to be taking a fee on that too. We will not be taking a fee on ours. So there's some discrepancy there, but we can go through the details. But basically, their node licenses are their deal. You cannot transfer them over. They're actually not giving you, they're just doing the same, kind of similar to what we're doing. They're not breaking theirs up either. They're just giving you ownership percentage, and they're going to be managing all that, just kind of similar to what we are, until we can split those things effectively through just what Nick said. Hypercycle is going to be able to make them splittable, so we can actually give you the split NFT, and that's going to come down the line. That is not even available yet. So can we use locked up tokens? This is something that we can, Nick, what do you think on this? We can possibly do this. We can't do this yet, but I would like to be able to do this if we can use the vested tokens.
It's unlikely.
We would have to be able to get Hypercycle to approve us to borrow against our vested tokens, which they probably won't do right now. But this could be a discussion we can have later down the line.
And listen, just really quick, this whole idea of being able to use not yet vested tokens is a machination that we came up with. It's not real, meaning that's not the way the world works. If you don't have stuff, you don't have it. So in the event that someone gets lucky enough to extend some kind of program like this, great, but you shouldn't expect it. Like when you just shouldn't expect it. This is just a very weird, cool thing, but not at all normal. And don't expect it from any other company that ever launches, because it's kind of like,
this is
madness.
outside the box thinking, which would be actually dope, but it's probably
but do not expect that.
Right. So ERC20 versus, so native token is not purchasable yet. They have not even released the native token. So you would have to buy the ERC Hypercycle token to be able to pair these with the node. But this is going to happen simultaneously, because we're going to pair those ERC Hypercycle. We're going to actually merge those to the native token to be able to bridge these with the node. So that's kind of one, but you can only buy the ERC or the BNB hypercycle right now. Jerry says, do we need the hardware? No, you do not need the hardware. You can get the hardware up and running, but at this point, they are not selling single licenses. The only way to get a license right now, and I don't see them selling single licenses for the next 18 months. The only way to get a single-ish license is through us right now, through our master node licenses.
We're building out the infra. So listen, it's just everybody, maybe this will answer a few questions. We're building out a data center with the equipment. That's where these licenses, these master nodes are going to be housed and managed. We have server admins in place. We have hardware specialists. We've already been building all of this for the last several months. This is just, we haven't been talking about it, but we've been building all this. You won't need any equipment. These licenses will be run on equipment that we'll have. And then we will produce some kind of thing that says, hey, this is what you're going to get. This is what your cut is, tilling. But those are all things like, how much am I going to earn and all this kind of stuff. Those are impossible to answer because the ecosystem's not built yet. So over the next 18 months, these things will all be rolling out and we'll have data. We just don't have data right now. So we're not going to give you some kind of pie in the sky bullshit answer.
You should be able to add your tokens to a node. Even if you don't have a node, you'll just get less. You'll probably have to pair up with either somebody who has a node license right now. I would say the people with licenses are going to be able to do this easier. Yes, we need a MetaMask wallet address. When will the 32 option be up? The 32 will be up today as well. Yeah, you do not need the, it's actually 1,024 tokens that you'll need per license, and you do not need those today, but you will need them in the future, correct? Oh, this is okay. So Nick, are these nodes going to participate in the beta or wait for action? No, this is, okay. So the beta is a term coined by Cryptopia, as in they're calling it beta. I guess we could call ours beta too, but it's not really beta. It's just, and this is what I've been telling people, it's just the thing. It's just hypercycle, right? It's just, we're creating our own hardware system. We have our own nodes, and we're going to be putting those to work, and we're going to be getting paid just the same as anybody else would be. So over the next 18 months, when nobody else can do anything, we're going to be the beta. Now, that's kind of why they're calling it beta, is because we don't know how much we're going to get paid for these nodes being online yet. So that could theoretically be why they're calling it beta. So that's true, I guess.
And real quick, this is just Brandon and I and the group that are building the data center. We're just doing this out of our pocket. So we it's a lot. But anyway, we put up the cash because we're interested in doing it anyway. So if you're going to be, the way to think about this is the second we get the data, we will explain it to you guys so you can make the best decision possible with your currency units. We're willing to gamble a little bit. So there we go.
I have a tech tip on how to check out on the website using MetaMask. It goes through the whole thing. I will make a tech tip on how to set up a MetaMask wallet if you do not have one already. That's an easy tech tip, and I will make that for sure.
Real quick, yes, it's one time. You buy the license and that's it. You don't need to keep buying licenses unless you want to have more and more nodes.
This is not an issue, Beth. So you buy the license, you're using our hardware. You'll end up using our hardware. So we're going to basically, you just buy the license, you have the tokens, and we have the hardware. You need those three components to be able to do this. And we're going to do all the work. And the hardware provider gets a cut, the node license person gets a cut, and the people with the tokens get a cut. So if you have the license and the tokens, you basically get
two cuts.
Does that make sense? That's the simplest terms I can break it down to. You see any more, Nick?
I'll tell you what, this is going to probably go on into infinitum. So why don't we do this? Let's wrap up today's show. And why don't we do this? When everybody take a couple of minutes, kind of think about what your questions are. Ask the questions in the comments. This is the live comments, so we won't see them. Ask the questions in the comments after the video is done, which we do see them, and we can respond to them, and we'll just go through the comments as they arrive, and we will respond to them. You can also go nickblacknext.com, get on our mailing list. Obviously, we'll put out information. This is only to digital private clients and digital investor subscribers. This isn't like to the public. If you just try to, well, you won't be able to check out because you'll never get to that, right? Yeah, you got to be okay.
Yep.
So cool. So, you know, man, stay in school, don't do drugs, don't do anything my poor insolvent drunk starting a meth grandmother or Brandon wouldn't do, which knows very little. And we will see you soon as hell.
If you're an accredited investor and you want in on angel, seed round or early round equity and token opportunities in the artificial intelligence and cryptocurrency space, schedule an interview at nickblacknext.com. In life, you can either be really good, really lucky, or just be first. Being first is so much easier. Schedule a digital private client interview today at nickblacknext.com.